I'm Lando Cal Experience. Glad to make your acquaintance.
Excuse me.
All right, welcome back to the Lando Cal Experience. We are reviewing The Matrix, or as Matrix Resurrection, or as I call it, fan fiction resurrection. That's my personal opinion off the top. The Oracle, how you doing, my brother?
Man, I am doing amazing, man. I'm glad to be back doing Lando Cal stuff again, brother. Man, it's good to be back with my bros, the original crew. Hell yeah, man. So hell yeah. So I'm glad to be back, brother.
Stefan, how you doing, man? What's big up, brother?
I'm doing good, dog. I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk about this topic. The last time we had it was pretty split hairs.
Yeah, with the Justice League.
We was talking with the Justice League, but I feel like we might be. I think they're gonna see something different today, man. I think it's gonna be a little different.
Oh yeah.
All right,
yeah.
All right. I'm gonna shoot it to you first, Stefan. Your initial thoughts on Matrix Resurrection.
So much like everybody who saw the trailer, they was hype, right? Like we were all hype about what was going to happen, what we were expecting to see. We done got enough John Wick to where we know that Keanu Reeves is gonna give us what we're looking for. We'll get John Wick with special powers. I was on the fence in the very beginning when I was watching the movie. I didn't know where it was actually going. And to the point until like towards the end, I realized that this was a passion project that got greenlit with some A-listers. And I don't know if I'm feeling it that much anymore, man. Like it felt like a grad student got picked up and was like, yo, we want you to make this. We like your idea. And they made it, but it didn't fall into fruition as far as the idea that they actually had. It was the whole thing was questionable. I felt like I was lied to. I felt like my parents just told me Santa Claus wasn't real, and I knew it was real this entire time. I don't know, man. It was a lot of false advertisement in that entire film.
All right, James.
I agree with Stefan, man. Like for real. And to piggyback more on what he said, you can tell that they really relied on nostalgia. Like they really relied on the nostalgia from that's back 99 when the original one came out, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so like over 20 years ago. So legitimately over 20 years ago. So you talking about over 20 years of nostalgia, you trying to cram into this 2.5 hour long movie, which was like, oh, okay. So you're basically this. So we're doing episode 7 of Star Wars, just the Matrix version. So is this where we at?
Yeah.
Like, is this what we're doing?
And it was the Force Awakening.
Is this the Force Awakens? Is this where we at? The Matrix, the Force Awakens? Is this where we at? Because it's like literally that's how I feel, man. Like it was okay. I mean, but I would say it was like it's like how I was saying y'all in the group chat, man. It's the Dr. Evil meme, the right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just I don't know, man. It's just I think one of the things that really kind of turned me off low key was the fact that one thing was kind of Morpheus, and not because of the actor. No, I fuck with the actor. It's nothing wrong with him. No, absolutely nothing wrong with him. It's nothing wrong with him portraying Morpheus, but Morpheus was the freshest he's ever been. All right, legitimately. He got his ass beat so bad throughout this movie. Like outside the training scenario with Neo at towards like what the end of the first act is like outside of that point, like nigga, you lost. Like you lost bad a few times. I was like, then Jada Pinkett Smith, no, don't get me wrong. I'm glad to see her character come back, but I'm like, oh. So you and Aunt Rachel for Family Matters. I was like, okay, Which that's how I had to realize because Erica had to point that out. Like, oh shit, that is unrated film.
Thelma Hopkins. Thelma Hopkins.
Yeah, yep. I was like, oh shit, that's her. And I was like, but it's the fact that I was like, oh, why Jada Pinkett kind of Warner Brothers? I know y'all do better in the budget. Kind of her looking like, okay, I mean, let's roll with it. Okay. But then it's just the fact that, you know, don't get me wrong, I know Keanu Reeves is legitimately in his late 50s now. Like he in the era like the Brad Pitt. Like I ain't know Brad Pitt was damn near 60 to like a few weeks ago. So like, so he in that range. He's not too far from the age of 60, which is wild when you think about it. So I'm like, okay, I can imagine you being an older guy doing older stuff. I'm like, this is not as like, I'm like, what happened to the John Wick movements, my nigga? What's going on? Like, but I don't know. But like I attribute to it, like I know my man getting older and so like this. I can't, you know, everyone can't be like Jackie Chan. You know what I'm saying? Jackie Chan is still 67 years old, kicking niggas' ass is the way he is. So I can't expect everyone to be like that. But I don't know, man. It's a lot of different stuff, man. But I'm gonna let y'all hash that out. I'm just saying this kind of what I just noticed off top.
I feel like it felt like if we came up with an idea of doing fan fiction of like how we think that the Matrix would be from part 4, and you watching it on YouTube where some people made it. I was like, oh, this sounds like a YouTube fan fiction
with a large budget.
Yes, and not even a large budget. It didn't feel like it was a large budget. It felt the graphics were horrible. At the first few minutes, I was like, is this Matrix? Like it looked cheesy. And I don't know what it is. Sometimes about 4K cameras don't give me the feel of a film, if that makes sense. Like even if you're watching even other TV shows, like some of the Amazon shows, things like that, it feels like when you're watching a 4K, that sometimes it doesn't feel correct. You got to do a lot with a 4K because it feels too much like a camcorder sometimes. And that's how it felt, that it was somebody shot it on a camcorder and knew a couple of different things. It was like, you know what? We're going to make Morpheus be, you know what I'm saying, a statue. He died fighting for the fight. Ooh, what if we make some of the robots be on the same team? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Somebody else raised their hand. Ooh, 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 ooh. We're going to bring Neo back. Resurrection. Jesus. Oh, got it. Oh, let's go. Let's roll out. Let's roll this out over the water. And this is the pitch. This is the pitch. That's what it felt like this movie was when they pitched it. It made no sense. That movie made no sense at all.
Yeah, no.
It was like, so are you telling me the first 3 movies were video games? At first, that's how it was. Like it landed to the point.
I think he was saying it was a dream. Like they made him
it's a dream
and believe it was all video games.
Right. No, I get that where they was trying to go with it, but like how the whole movie I was kind of waiting for the aha moment.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like it was like so. Because this is a spoiler movie, so this is a spoiler. So I mean, it's a spoiler. But I'm just saying. But at this point, you're thinking like, okay, maybe Thomas Anderson is just having a fucking psychotic episode this whole time. And I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna wake up Inception style. You know, that's what I was waiting. It was like, okay, if they flip it like that, would I be kind of like? But I would be kind of okay with it if there was a twist like that, like, oh, my man really was having a psychotic episode on some stuff. This is what's going on. It was like something dealing with mental health, like some kind of allegory for mental health. I wouldn't be cool with that. Like, if it was flipped like that and they found a way, because you really could. But my thing was, I see what they were trying to do. I do. But it was like, you rely too much on nostalgia. Like, for example, I just watched Spider-Man No Way Home earlier today, right? I just got a chance to watch it earlier today. And I mean, by this point, everyone kind of, because the internet, people just know shit by now, but it's just on that. Like, you know, when the nostalgia hits on that, it was like, oh, damn, this is how you do this correctly. You see what I'm saying? Like, but the way the Matrix did it is like, you're just kind of like shoehorning it in. Like, it's kind of like a shoehorning, like you just throwing it in, just to say, oh, well, remember this, like, Matrix, you see this Matrix, like, no.
Yeah, no, they use nostalgia like a child learning curse words and just use it haphazardly.
Like they did what Disney does with Disney movies, but it was in the Matrix movies. Like how Disney just like, hey, we're just gonna not think of ideas sometimes and just, hey, we're gonna be relying on nostalgia a whole bunch. It's like, yeah, but Be more creative than that, my nigga. This is
Yeah.
what Matrix did. This is what Warner Brothers did with Matrix. It's like you took 3 movies worth of shit, lore, and an animated thing, and you kind of just not threw it out the window, but it's just like you trying to rehash it and literally Force Awaken the whole thing. It's like, nah, it's literally the Matrix, the Force Awakens. That's literally how I see it, honestly.
Well, they definitely went meta with their approach by saying that it was a video game, saying that in our reality that we actually had a Matrix video game that came out, and they actually used the term bullet time, which was also Max Payne. Max Payne was like
that's Max Payne's the first one
actually,
that did that.
Yeah, they did bullet time, right? So,
and that's where you could slow it down and you could jump and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That was the first video game that did it. That was like what, 2001?
Yeah, and that came because of Matrix, and that definitely happened because of Matrix.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact.
Yep. So they definitely went meta with it, and to everybody's point, they definitely used a lot of nostalgia in it, to the point that you were making, D, about the way it was shot. The 4K wasn't necessarily a problem. It wouldn't have been a problem had they shot it the same way they did the original movies. If you're gonna keep the nostalgia, keep that fluorescent green feel that they use in all the other 3 films. And that way it would have kept the same feel. Maybe it wouldn't felt so different. They made it super bright and vibrant. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. But at the same time, like, damn, like it doesn't look the same. It doesn't feel the same. It wasn't the same tangibility, you know what I'm saying, that we got from the last 3. To your point, Jay, I felt like they wrote off everything that we originally watched in the last 3 movies. They wrote that completely off by saying that it was a dream. And that's one thing I hate when storytellers do that. They give you this long, elaborate storyline and make you so invested into these characters. And in this main character, for that matter, only to write off and go like, oh, he woke up from a dream. This was all a dream. Lost did that. We had so many episodes of Lost, and then it turned out just to be a damn dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. So I understand what they were trying to do with the idea of, instead of just killing off Neo and Trinity, that they will keep them in a dreamlike state in the Matrix, kind of keep them drugged up and keep them in this space and create this reality around them. So every time they try to break free, they'll basically reset and start over and keep them in the same place. I kind of understand it, and it's very smart of the machines to even go that route. But then you implement you introduce new characters that we don't even know or we don't truly understand. Like, who the fuck was the therapist? I have no idea who Neil Patrick. You wasted Neil Patrick Harris. You know what I'm saying? In that role, we don't know who he is. Is he the reincarnated architect? Or
that's what I was thinking, honestly.
Or is he just a new entity that's the architect and Oracle? Or is the Indian, I forgot her name, but the Indian broad, is she the new Oracle?
Sati, yeah.
Yeah, like who is she? Like, if we're gonna get new skinned characters, if we're gonna get brand new skinned characters, then we should have actually gotten new skinned characters for Neo and Trinity. To be completely honest, we probably could have gotten Keanu Reeves and I forgot the lady's name playing Trinity. We could have got them maybe for the first 20 minutes of the movie, but after Neo got out, maybe Neo, we could have gotten Keanu Reeves in outside of the Matrix, right? That whole scene outside of the Matrix. But when they're in the Matrix, we had this new skinned character.
Whoever.
I mean, just give these actors a chance to kind of spread their rings and give their range in that point, because we got a brand new Smith. You did bring back Hugo for Agent Smith. You know, you got somebody brand new, and then even this Agent Smith wasn't properly explained. They just kind of retconned or did whatever they wanted to do.
What did he want to do? Was he just rogue on his own, or what was his?
Yeah,
like,
didn't
what
make
was going
sense
on
at all. It didn't make
like
sense.
He just remembered, like, oh, you did free me, so now I can just do whatever I want to do in the Matrix. That does not make sense. It was no structure to any of these characters. One thing I did hear from a few people was they felt weird about Trinity becoming the one all of a sudden.
It's two of them now. That's something like, what the fuck?
Well, it'd have been different for me. It'd have been way different had they gave Neo his powers initially, or his ability initially, where he wasn't lacking in his ability to do anything at all. instead of him having a force shield that he kept putting up to deflect bullets or push people away. But if they gave him his initial ability right off the bat after he remembered who the hell he was or whatever the case is, then I probably wouldn't have a problem with Trinity becoming the second one. But they literally stripped him of all of his ability virtually and made Trinity the one. And I think people have an issue with that because of that very reason. Personally, I feel like in this climate, they're going to do the woman empowerment thing, which is absolutely fine. They want to make her the lead and make her powerful. That's absolutely cool too. I just feel like they played Neo pretty badly in this storyline.
It was like those movies, like you think about like some classic action movies where they have those straight to DVD sequels. You'd be like, damn, they did a Scorpion King 4? This is how this feels. You know, one of those straight to DVD. Like I just found out there's an Inside Man 2.
Oh wow, really?
Exactly. This is what this movie was. It's all these sequels. You'd be like, they did an Undisputed 7? Damn. You know, I'm gonna go to any movie and think about all these movies that have these sequels, and you're like, I don't even know like the original and maybe the second one. Y'all on like the Scorpion King is like on 8 or 9, no bullshit.
Yeah.
Like it's like on a lotto. And that's what this felt like.
Yeah. You know what happened? So what I'm basically getting out of it is they did Keanu Reeves the same way they did in this movie as they did John Boyega in the new Star Wars movies. Like, oh, you think Keanu Reeves is the point because he's the draw, because he's, but now what you did was you kind of just like, oh, let's turn ahead and just, but it wasn't, it was like, yeah, like Stephen said, you know, I understand that, I get it. I was like, oh, okay, so this is the movie making. All right, well, I like Trinity. I fuck with Trinity, so it, you know, I kind of don't mind. But it's just like, so it's two of the ones. Who the fuck is the architect? Not the architect, the analyst. See what I'm saying? That's that fast. No, I just immediately thought he was the architect. The analyst. So it's a lot of unanswered questions. It's a lot of unanswered things going on. Like I could see they're trying to probably make this a trilogy. I can see that's probably what they're gonna do. Try to answer some of these questions, but you know, it's just one of those things.
I'm
like,
good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
It's like I can go without seeing it. No, and it's no shade to Keanu Reeves or the lady named Carrie Ann Moss. That's her name, and Carrie Ann Moss. It's no shade to either of them, because one, the age didn't look definitely good for their age, and they did what they were supposed to do, but they did what they were supposed to do in the confines of what they were.
They tried to make her Sigourney Weaver. They like even like the way she looked like Sigourney Weaver an Alien, right?
Yeah, trying to make her trying to make her Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor is kind of character.
Yes,
like
that's what it felt like.
Like just trying to make her like that's kind
of. First of all, Sigourney Weaver looks way better than her. No disrespect. I'm just saying, you know, they pulled it off better in the Alien franchise.
Right.
Yeah, they even did it kind of in Terminator and knowing a little bit better, even though the movie sucked. I ain't gonna lie that Sarah Connor did great. It was just everything else outside of Sarah Connor sucked. That's really what it was. Well, I'm just saying, but that's kind of how I feel about they try to make her another Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor is her character, which I see, like I said, because it's Trinity, you can kind of play in that world kind of anyway, but it's like, but I see what they were trying to do. Like, yeah, you basically pulled the same shit that y'all did with John Boyega in the new Star Wars franchise. That's exactly what y'all did. I mean, that's how I'm seeing it personally.
I could have even gone with the fact of them maybe waiting to the second film to give Trinity like the overall like power. You dig? Like they could have went through the entire first movie with him trying to rescue Trinity out of the Matrix. By towards the climax of the actual film, they like Neo regained all of his ability. He remembered how to do certain shit, and he was that badass fighting a bunch of copies of Agent Smiths, you know, and that we saw in the previous films. We could have got that badass back. And then the second film, it's them going about rebuilding the Matrix the way they want to. And then they find out that Trinity has the same ability now, you know what I'm saying, that Neo actually has. And then the third film is like the ultimate climax to the entire story. It's many ways they could have did this first story to,
go ahead, Steph.
No, I'm saying they could have done many things with this first film to lead up to the next two films afterwards that would have made people more engaged and would have kept them kept them intrigued. They gave us a whole lot in this first movie that didn't make any sense. There was no build up. There was really, first it was slow as shit. It was very, very slow. I think they did my boy Yahya. Is his name? His name is Yahya, right?
Yeah, Yahya Abdul Mateen.
Yahya. Yeah, they play Yahya real bad in that role. By you can't give him the role of Morpheus and then make him a simp.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can't do that.
Thank
you can't
you.
give us Lawrence Fishburne fighting motherfuckers with cool ass like single no brim shades, like in a dope ass gator jacket with, you know what I'm saying, like with a whole sword in the car. Like he fought a dude with a sword in the car on the highway. You can't give us that Morpheus and then turn around and have him beat some prayer beads, you know what I'm saying, that talk to people. You can't do that. You can't give us that, bro. Like I think, and it does disservice to honestly to that actor and also to that character because he's such a prominent role.
Like this movie being so bad makes the conspiracy theories about the black woman that wrote all this stuff hold true. Even though I know it's a conspiracy, it just puts the fan on that fire for me.
Oh no, pray tell. What I didn't hear.
Oh no, you
don't know?
No, please.
Please explain it, Daryl. Please do.
Oh man, I gotta get a conspiracy brother air territory now. But basically, there was this.
At this point, you should edit in like a conspiracy theory like intro before he goes into
this. It's a goddamn conspiracy.
Goddamn.
So there was it was around 2002 or so. There was this urban legend, and I'm not even sure if it's even true or what, but that it was this black woman wrote the Terminator and the Matrix, and these books are manuscripts that she submitted to Warner Brothers, and they stole them, and then they kind of distributed them out, and they became Terminator and the Matrix. It doesn't hold up because Terminator was like 84 or something, and Matrix didn't come out until 89. So it's like, damn, y'all sat on 20 years of all this, and whatever. Mm-hmm. And like Alien too, it was like basically anything that was science fiction, this older black woman did it. And the stuff I did read, they said that she did try to say that, but they threw the case out because of whatever it is. So it's just one of those things. I forgot the woman's name. I'm gonna pull it up here as we are talking. But my second question is, and do you all think, with people always saying that the original Matrix trilogy was about a person coming into their own as a trans person, do you think that has something to do with them flipping Neo into the Trinity as the one?
One could say that. One could say that, but
you can easily interpret it to being that way. Personally, I feel like it really sticks true to like a more like tech punk biblical approach with like the coming to Jesus and the resurrection and everything like that. I think the first three is really more biblical than it is anything. It could definitely be interpreted as coming to oneself and trans, this, and the third. And I think a lot of that came from people who looked at the original directors of the film and seen how they transitioned into their life. You dig? Because I believe the brothers were originally brothers. Now they're both sisters.
Right.
And so I feel like maybe people have taken that to what it is and using that as an excuse, I guess, for that theory. But yeah. I personally feel like it's more biblical than anything.
Didn't one of the Wachowskis actually say exactly that? If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong, but I don't know. It may have came from one of them. Let's say could be wrong, but I think that's what I heard. But regardless, though, one could say that and try to put that correlation together. I agree with Stephen more than anything else. That's kind of how I saw it. Like first three movies I saw is first movie was the birth of the one, second was the life of the one, third one's the death of the one. That's kind of how I always saw it. It's just like Godfather. Birth of the Godfather, life of the Godfather, death of the Godfather. That's literally how I saw everything. So it's like, but could one make that kind of interpretation because of of the directors originally now are trans women now? What you could say that, I can see why someone would say that, but
yeah.
But,
So the story is
oh,
Sophia Stewart, y'all. Sophia Stewart is the woman
that's the name.
claimed in 1984 she copyrighted a book called The Third Eye. She says that the Wachowski brothers had a science fiction competition in 86 that she submitted this to. And then, but she didn't put the thing into 2000. And it's a long, long thing. And people thought that she had won her case at one point. That's how the urban legend got big in 2004. But it was she won the ability to be able to take it to trial. Not that she won the case. She actually lost the case in 2005. It was dismissed by a judge. So it's just one of them urban legends that keeps going. Her book is on Amazon called The Third Eye. She's got a Twitter page where she claims that she should own these Oscars. It's weird. It's weird. There's a lot of holes in her whole thing. I remember that when I researched it a long time ago, but that's just give people kind of framework. But this is a movie so bad it's making people start believing Sophia.
So I feel like there might be some truth to that. As far as the fact of her had written a lot of this stuff prior to, and
but she said the Terminator too. She said the Terminator 2 and Alien.
So I mean, so even
Alien came out in 79 though, and she wrote this thing in 84. So that's why I'm like,
oh, so she's saying that the Aliens and Terminator were in this.
Were in her book, the Third Eye. Is like in the Matrix, all were stolen from her book, The Third Eye.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think about the Matrix. I don't think that Aliens or
Terminator, because Terminator is 84 too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't turn around that fast. Like you can't. I can't see it, and especially in the 80s. It would take like 2 years to do a movie in the 80s. So that means they was working on it in 82.
Right. So, but with the Matrix though, I can probably see that them sitting on that for a good minute and then going, okay, now we can green light this. Because it's been said that we've had a lot of stories, a lot of movies that's been sitting.
Yeah, blacklisted.
Then they go back and revisit it and they go, okay, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, The Martian was I believe The Martian was blacklisted for a long time. The who was in that? I can't remember
now. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, yes.
There you go.
That was blacklisted for a long time.
No, why?
There's a couple of films that have been blacklisted that became pretty popular.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know, I was just looking up something dealing with that the whole trans allegory stuff. Per the Huffington Post, they said the actual one of the sisters did confirm that that actually was the intention of the Matrix.
Yeah, I know. Oh no, I knew that was fact. The first Matrix was about that, yeah. And supposedly that's the original way they pitched it, and the studio's like, hell no. So, but they tried to sneak it in with that character Switch.
Yeah,
where she was kind of androgynous. That's why I think they kind of tried to slide it in there, because if she was androgynous, you didn't know if you didn't kind of know where she kind of was on the spectrum or whatnot.
Yeah, it wasn't socially accepted at that time.
Right. So nobody was like, hell no. We ain't doing a movie about that.
But now
But that's what I'm saying. Is this movie trying to give more credence to that somewhat?
Now that you say that, it kind of makes sense with the line with them saying that Trinity was saying that we're gonna make the Matrix into to our vision, to a new vision.
Yeah.
And it's there. So that might have been a stab at like Warner Brothers or even the industry or just society itself going like, yeah, we're gonna make this into a world that we want to live in, that's universal, that's loving, and this and yeah. I feel like that's what I feel like that was a great stab, a big ass stab to society itself. It was definitely directed to society.
All right. Any other thoughts, fellas? Before we this movie was not good. I'm giving it 1.5 star out of 4.
He's out of 4, not even 5. He just said, "Fuck, we just go into 4."
If it's out of 5, it's 1.5 out of 5. I mean, whatever way is 1.5.
Damn.
Like I don't know, whatever range you want to put it in.
It's still bad.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna give it as a solid 1.
Dang. It's a solid 1.
A solid 1. Like, cause I was in for it and I got excited because I was like, okay, we doing something different. I know this is Resurrection, so we're doing something different with more. I literally thought that this might have been an origin story for Morpheus in a sense. When they initially talked about Morpheus, because I was like, maybe this is like the original. Maybe this is the original run through of the. Or
they get sent back in time to like with the beginning and some kind of play with and interplay with that.
Yes. So like this is before Neo. Like there was a one. Morpheus was part of that whole situation at that point. And they just like, but then like the time that we saw Neo and Morpheus and everything else, that was like a resurrection. Like it was like a reset. Because they did describe, or they did say that in the movies that they had, there was multiple times that this same thing has happened over and over again.
Right. And I thought they were going to do that. I thought they were going to go to like, because they had like what a nightmare one scenario.
Yeah.
They had I forgot, it was, they named like the 3 or 4 different other Matrixes before this one. I thought maybe they had to go get all the other Neos and save them in like for like one big kind of, you know, coup de grace against the Matrix.
Right. Or they went back into the system and got like a younger Morpheus.
Yep.
And we didn't know that Morpheus was originally an agent at one point. And then he got
I thought
free.
That too. I was like, oh,
yeah.
snap.
So I was like, that would have been dope.
I was like, that makes sense that he would know so much.
Right. But then they gave us, it's a video game. I'm like, well, fuck me. it was a dream all along, you know.
And he's what he's an agent, but he's a program that Neo programmed to help him, but not help him.
Yeah.
Niggas was thinking too hard on this one, man.
They made it way too elaborate. They could have just left it. They could have left it the way it was. They could
just went to the one other lands they talked about. They already told us what other Matrixes were. They could just did one of them, and we would have been happy.
That's it. They could have gave us a live action animatrix.
Yep.
That would have been it. Short stories throughout the entire time, or combined all the stories into one large thing, where we can see like the adventures between Matrix 1 and 1, 2, and 3, like the little part, the parts we did not see. That would have been dope, you know. But you know, we don't get paid the big bucks.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't get paid
the big bucks at all.
King
yeah, we. but yeah, I give it a solid 1. I give it a solid 1.
James, what you giving it?
Well, if I try to be generous, I'm gonna give it a 2. If I'm gonna be generous, that's it. Be putting it like this, making it as nice as I can. And I'm giving it a 2 only because it had me for a second until like Stephen said, till they start going in the direction that was going like, oh, okay, it's being meta. Okay, you got my attention. Yeah, they just start going downhill from there. It just like I saw what they were wanting to do, but like I said, it was just like it's something like they were thinking too much of trying to put in the execute, but it didn't translate as well as it should have. I guess that's the best way to put it. I give it a 2 and being nice, but I mean,
dang, you giving it a 2. Dang.
I mean,
I almost want to say this is worse than the original Suicide Squad, but I don't know if I want to go there yet.
Oh.
I'm not sure. I need to watch it again before I really jump out that window yet. But I'm on the ledge of saying
it's.
I enjoyed the Suicide Squad more than this.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was a good movie, but I enjoyed it.
It definitely had better fight scenes.
Morpheus. I'm sorry, the way they play Morpheus, man, that just kind of that turned me off. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, and then you had just Keanu Reeves. His whole cool was just lost where he trying to do a damn Star Wars force push. I'm like, nigga, your whole thing is supposed to be like, stop, bitch. And you doing like you straight like, oh no, son, don't no.
The part that got me is when they originally gave Morpheus he chose the red pill to escape, and it made him all super high, and he didn't know what was going on. Like, it's so bright. Oh my God, is this supposed to feel like this? And she was like, oh, it wears off after a while. Like, hey, would you give him an X pill, or did you give him?
And also, he's a program, so how the hell does he get out? Like, what is? I didn't understand.
Plot holes, sir. Don't plot holes. Don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I did think it was cool that they actually mastered the ability of moving amongst the Matrix, like with the so they took the same idea from the Keymaster and was able to go use the back doors to get to certain places.
Go jump through
I thought that was dope.
Yeah,
I thought that shit was dope.
That was cool.
Yeah. Like things like that, like they're upgrading their ability of jumping in and out of the Matrix without going to a phone booth. Thought was dope. The fact that they paid homage to the Keymaster by going through the locksmith store, that was really dope.
I like the fact that they knew that they had to end up working with machines in some way too. Like I get that was dope.
Right.
And you saw there was a legit civil war. Like you said, oh, I want to see that what happened. What happened with this fucking civil war between the
Why you didn't show me that?
Like
they could have gave us that movie.
Like,
they could have started off that movie with that, and then brought in Keanu and all of them. You know, saying the second film and
they
told
gave
this
them $20
elaborate
million and a bucket of chicken for this. Obviously,
20 million a bucket.
It was definitely You Got Mail. 2021 You Got Mail. That's all it was. It was a love story.
Let me see. Let me check this budget.
Matrix: The Force Awakens, man.
It was a love story. That's all it was. Like literally, they could have did the trailer with with the trailer voice when they were talking about like a rom-com.
Yeah,
it could have been. It was a Matrix rom-com.
Oh no,
that's what it was.
Budget was 63 million. As I told you, a bucket of chicken. Ain't even. I think the original Matrix was like 150, 200.
No, I'm looking. Their budget was 190, and they made like under 70.
The new one?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, the original got 63 million. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now the one that just came out. No, that's 190 million.
You're right. I'm tripping.
But they made like a little shy of 70 million, which that's a bust.
That's a stab, boy. But we know Warner Brothers is good for shooting themselves in the foot with good franchises. They don't know what they're doing with movies anymore. Like they're too busy trying to make massive universes instead of just telling good stories. Like stick to what you know. If you were Lysol ain't out here making kitchenware.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Look, for comparison, Spider-Man No Way Home is 10. With budget for Spider-Man No Way Home was 10 million more.
Oh, it's only 10 million more?
That's it.
Yeah.
And it made back its money 5 times over. Damn near 6.
In a pandemic.
And the movie just came out literally
but also does it hurt to make sure that it was streamable immediately too though?
But even so,
fair. I mean, I'm saying let's be fair there a little bit.
But even so, but even though people still want to go out to the movies and stuff like that, and those people still like ideas today. So people still want to go to the movies.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but if Spider-Man was on streaming immediately, I don't know if they did the same numbers.
They probably would have, because good storytelling is good storytelling, flat out.
I agree. Like, and some people just want to see it on the big screen too.
Yeah, some people want to see it on the big screen, but some people want to see it at home. But if you have a good story, then that negates everything else. People will still go and they will watch it at home and still go to the movies to go watch it. But if you don't have a solid storyline, it's going to fall flat. Period. People stayed up the night before to watch The Matrix and then probably put out their review, which caused people not to go watch it in the theaters. Had people and I'll give it to Kevin Feige and Disney. They played that shit real smart by not making it streamable. But had they made it streamable, I'm pretty sure that we still would have had the same numbers. I would say maybe 5% less because of the fact that you were able to watch it at home, but it still would have made record numbers, flat out.
It would at least made this money, at least at minimum maybe 3 to 4 times over at minimum.
Yeah.
At minimum.
Yeah. Like it's just a solid storyline. They've been consistent with solid storylines, and they've never well, I can't say they haven't fallen off, because Black Widow was a fail. They just put that movie out to put it out, and it was placed out of context of the story of phase 4, or phase 3. Was it phase 3 or phase 4? I think it was one of those phases, but it was out of context.
Yeah,
it was completely out of context. You can't kill her off and then give her an origin movie. That doesn't make any sense. No, like, she's dead, but this is how she died. This is her beginnings. But yeah, no. I think they should have waited, or at least just recast everybody and did something different for the Matrix. Gave us a different story. Gave us a story of the Matrix that didn't necessarily involve Neo or Trinity just yet. No Way Home did it right. They brought back the two other Spider-Man that we grew up with, that we saw before, and they shared their experiences with the new one. That makes sense. That's a point in this. That's proper nostalgia, not giving us everything all at one time, throwing it in our face like, you remember that, don't you? Yeah, you like that. You like that? You remember it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nostalgia. And they literally could have just had T-shirts on that said nostalgia.
You ain't lying about that.
Matrix.
Legit. Like they could have just did that. Like the way they did the helicopter shot when they was on the roof and the bullets, like the shells were falling. It's nostalgic from the first movie. I was just waiting for him to do the wavy bullet dodge thing.
Oh no, they didn't have
waiting on that. Yeah, no.
Are you talking about the epic lean back?
Yeah. I mean, I was waiting on that.
They did the Asian bullet dodge. So it was like, oh, okay.
They did that, and they also did the I still know kung fu.
And then whack ass rapid punch.
Right. The fact that they brought back the what was the guy's name? It was the character when they first got back into the Matrix. Smith met them at this abandoned building, and he was like, if some people want to see you. It was an old rat tattered guy. He was like the French, the Frenchman. Yeah. They brought him back, and I thought that was kind of cool, but then they just made him crazy, and he was just rambling on for no reason in the middle of this fight. It was almost like an Adam West Batman villain that was just spouting out shit while his goons were fighting Batman and his team. Like, I felt like that's what that was. It was like old Adam West villainry of, yeah, you're never gonna catch me. My guys got you, and it was just stupid. And then he just ran off. He just disappeared. He was like, oh, that was my part. Boop, boop, boop. He just disappeared to the background. It's like, what was the point of you being there? What was the point? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I just felt like they put way too much into all of that, and it just could have been way better. This could have been way better. I'm very upset at the fact that he just really shit on an entire franchise that revolutionized the way people looked at movies and how they went to the movies at that point. Like I still remember, I still watch to this day, like watching the first Matrix when my dude goes, are you sure that's even air that you're breathing? Like, I remember sitting in the theater, stop breathing, like, damn, is this really air? Am I really breathing this air? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an iconic line, and that's some shit and that's what I mean by tangibility. Like, when you watch a movie, you have that tangible feel. That's definitely a tangible feel that I actually got. And they literally shit on all of that in this film. All of it. Every last bit of it. It just
yeah, it's just not proper for the streets.
No.
It's just not. Let's keep it real. In the days, I'll keep it real. Facts. But where can everybody hit you up at, Steph? And what you got going on? People check out.
You can catch me on Instagram at visual_mindset. Also catch me on Facebook as a digital co-op. You see digital co-op in my background.
It sounds like it is right there.
Yeah, like digital co-op gaming. You can catch me there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Usually running Call of Duty, Cold War, or Vanguard now, and running hardcore. So it's a big thing, man. It's a thing. It's a vibe. It's a whole vibe.
Sure.
All right, James, where can they hit you up, man?
All social media is literally at JBJR official. Check me out for everything fresh produce related. Since we do both the online shows and the in-person shows, so make sure you check out everything on there with just at Fresh Produce STL and at Fresh Produce Beat Battle, and check out the fighting game podcast that I help my boys out with, called The Casual Fighter. We do that on Twitch, and holla us, man. And and check out Fruit of the Boom podcast that's coming back too, and that's what I got going on.
That boy got beats.
He got beats.
He got beats. That boy got beats.
Yeah, I might be doing a showcase. I might be doing another showcase soon, sometime in January. So we got to see how that play out. So more information pending on that soon. I just got invited today, so we'll see what's happening with that.
Word.
All right. Well, we will be back soon with some more reviews for you. And I guess check this out. We'll see how you feel. Let us know what y'all feel in the comments. Email us at landocalpod@gmail.com. Lando Cal Pod on Instagram, Lando Cal Pod, Facebook, Lando Cal Pod, Twitter. We everywhere with it. Stephanie going to bring some more heat for us with some more gaming stuff, man. The Call of Duty one is jumping off over there over on the YouTube page. It's got over 200 views.
Man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I got people out in Brazil, dog. I just found that out the other day.
Nice.
I got a cat down in Brazil, and he'd be sharing it with his folks. And I got like 4 or 5 people down in Brazil right now, which is not a big number, but I'm happy I'm in Brazil.
Yeah, no. Look, man, look.
No,
that's all I need is to be popping in Brazil. That's the first place I want to be popping at.
Yes, sir.
It's Brazil.
If my boy Jonathan is watching, Jonathan, I appreciate you, dog. You and your fam down in Brazil. It's all love, dog. I love when dude get on. He be so hyped. He be hyping me up every single time. He be like, I don't know a whole lot of English, but you did that shit.
All right, we'll be back soon. Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.